Microsoft Word 2003, Page Formatting, Part 2. In this section, we're going to take a look at two other little features that we want to talk about with page formatting, and that is headers and footers, and we're going to talk about how we can do automatic page numbering on our document pages. So in this video, we're going to continue on with our page formatting and discuss headers and footers, which again is information that will appear at the top of the page, and information in the footer will appear at the bottom of the page, and how we can just do plain old page numbering. Keep track of how many pages we've been typing into our documents. Whenever we're trying to keep information straight, like as in how many pages do I have? What date was this written? Things like that. Information, maybe even a statement that says this document is confidential. We can make sure that this information is on every single page by utilizing headers and footers. So the first thing that we'll probably want to do is find out, well, where do these headers and footers appear? Well, believe it or not, they're going to appear in the margins up here that you don't have normal text. Now, when you take a look, you're saying, well, I don't see any headers and footers. Well, by default, you don't have any information in there. In order for you to edit and manipulate these headers and footers, footers, of course, being the foot down here at the bottom of a page, then I'll scroll up here to the top, then you have your header up here. You need to go to View, Header and Footer, and it's located right here underneath the thumbnails, document map, and some of the other things that we're doing here. So we go ahead and go into print layout, we do header and footer, and notice it grays out all of the information that you see on the page. So as I scroll between pages, all my normal text is grayed out. I'm not able to edit my normal text. All I'm editing is my header, and I have my little text box here for my header, and if I want to, I can go to the next one, and go to whatever one I want here. I can switch between the header and footer. Now I'm editing the footer. Now I'm editing the header. So you can do whatever you need to do here. You can also do a whole bunch of things: page numbers, number of pages, format pages, insert the date, insert the time. We can insert auto text if we want, which gives us a page, author, page number, date, confidential, page number, created by. You have all these different things that you can use that are already pre-built in. Page X of Y, last saved by, last printed by. And so you can track even some of the things that are happening with your documents. Now, what I typically like to do on the header, anyway, is I like to put the title of the document. Now, I can format this just like I do anything else. Look, right now I'm using a header, my Times New Roman. I can change the font. I can go to my Arial or my Comic Sans. Let's use my Tahoma Small Cap. I can center it, and I can say this is the history of instruments. So now that information is going to be in my title, or in my header. This title is going to be on the top of every page as it moves throughout the document. And that's a good thing to put for a header. So that's good. So I've got that for my header. Now I'm going to switch to my footer. On my footer, let's say I want to use the auto text. I'm going to say it's not confidential, but I can put the author, the page number, and the date. So when I do that, it's going to say Chris Ward, page 2, and it gives the date that this particular video was created on, as well as the date that this document was created on. So that way you know that, hey, wow, 6/20/2006 was the date. Now, if I come back into this document and edit, it can update this as well. All you need to go in is go to the footer, and then you can come up here and just say, hey, I want now a different page number and date, and just click on that. You can also say it's when it was created on, and that will stay the same. So you can do that. File name, sometimes people like the file name and path. You can change that. Now, of course, now it's pushed it off the edge of the page there, so I'll undo that. But you can see if I hit enter and move down to the next page of my footer, it's going to expand it out, and now I could insert the say the file name and the path. So that way people can find where this document is located if you ever have to find it. So let's just stick with my name, because I'm the author, what page number it is, and followed by the date that was created. So when I hit close, watch what happens. History of instruments. The history of instruments. Oh, wait a minute. The history of instruments, and now I have the history of instruments again. I don't want that. I want to change that. How do I do that? Well, you have to change it based upon the page setup. Remember, on the previous video, we said, hey, we've got a different thing when you go to File, Page Setup. You can see that we have our layout, and here's our headers and footers. You can do different ones than odd and even. You can do a different first page, where it is from the edge. So let's do a different first page. So I allow for that. I click OK, and now look what happened on my first page. Lost it. Didn't have anything. Or what I can do is I can come over here and I can do View, Header and Footer, and now it says first page footer. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go to my first page footer, and I'm okay with leaving the information down here under the author, page number, and date. So the first page footer will be the same as the other one. And see, I can go show to next, and now that I have information in my footer, it will then go to the next footer that I have. And see, now it says Chris Ward, page 2. On the second page, if I go to the third page and the fourth, you can do that quite easily. So you have all that information there. So let's go ahead and close it, and let's see what happened this time. Well, here's my page 1. There's my author name, Chris Ward, page 1, the date that we created that. But at the top, look, because it's different, it's a different first page, we can do that. And sometimes people will want to do every even page, you can do something, or every odd page. And I'm scrolling down here. See, here's page 2. Grab my scroll bar here. Page 3. There's the title, The History of Instruments. Page 4. So this is all included on my documentation, and it's it's kind of watermarked out here, and so you know that this information is going to remain on every single page that you have. So if I come up here, and we learned about this previously, and I insert a page break, let's go ahead and do a page break. Look, my next page, page 5, starts off, already have the header information, and if I scroll down at the bottom, already have my footer information. So this information remains sticky throughout the whole document as you put these headers and footers in. And that's a good feature. That's a good tool that we can use. Sometimes though, you don't really want all the bells and whistles that you get with headers and footers. And so what you can do instead is you can just add page numbering onto your particular document, which is just as easy as doing the headers and footers. We just want to do the page numbers. What we'll want to do is come up to Insert Page Numbers. So when we do this, it's going to change where these page numbers are. Now, the page numbers currently are going to be at the bottom of the page in the footer. They're going to be alignment set over to the right. So you can kind of see it goes, boop, this is where you're going to be wanting to do that. You can also show the number on the first page if you want to. You can also change the alignment. You can do inside, outside, so that way it's on the inside of the page when you're looking at it from book, or you can do it from the outside, which puts it on the outside of the page when you're looking at it. So in the inside means if you're looking at 2 pages in a book, the page numbers will be here on the inside. Or you can do it on the outside and they'll be on the outside. A lot of books use them right there. Or you can just put them in the center if you want. That'll work. Or stick with left or right. We'll just put it with the right. We don't want to show the number on the first page, and then I can format it. When I click on the format, it's going to say, do you want it 1, 2, 3? 1, little hyphens there with the ones, A, B, and C. Roman numerals, that's always kind of fun. Let's go ahead and do that. Do you want to include a chapter number? Well, what's the chapter? It'll start with whatever the chapter number is. Heading 1, use a separator. It kind of shows you, it'll say chapter 1, page 1, or something like that. You can also use different types of headings and change this. So you get a lot of options here with your page numbers. Well, let's not include the chapter number. We'll just go ahead and stick with the page numbers. We'll do Roman numerals just for fun because that'll be a little bit different. Now, we can continue from the previous section, which means, hey, if I come in here and I want to go ahead and utilize these particular page numbering systems, or I can go ahead and say I want it to start at page number 20. So I can do that. You want page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? I kind of love those Roman numerals. So let's go ahead and start with page 2. So we'll start at page 2, and that will enable us to do this. So we click OK. We got our formatting. We click OK. And now, not only do I have my page number format, here is page 2. But notice it also puts the page number now over here to the side. So I've really messed it up because I said, oh, I want it on the right, but my footer tries to overwrite it and put it here. But notice page numbering overwrites what the footer information is. So it comes over here. Comes over here. So that's not good. That's messed up. So what I'm going to obviously have to do is come up over here and go to the page numbers. We'll stick with the center. Make sure the format is correct. Start at page 2. We click OK. And now, notice it still says page, but it has the V1. So what I'm going to have to do is change page and remove it from my header and footer. How do I do that? Remember, View, Header and Footer. We've got our first page header right here. Let's move to the next one. And let's switch between header and footer. We want footer now. I do not want... Now notice it shows the page right there in the background. So if I want, I can delete that out just by merely selecting on it and clicking delete. Delete. It'll no longer be in there. I'll still have my author, still have this. Notice nothing in there. So I click close. Page 2. Nothing right here. Nothing right here. And nothing right here. What happened? Well, remember, I deleted the automatic page numbering on that page as well as the term page. So to turn that back on, you can come up here to the top, click on the Insert Page Numbers. Again, say, I want the alignment into the center, bottom of the page, don't know the show number on the first page. Format. I want Roman numerals, starting on page, or we can just do continuous from previous section. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Hit Start At, we use Roman numerals, and I click OK, and now, got the page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and page 5. So now I've removed the word page, and now I've added that Roman numeral paging system. So what you want to be careful about with headers and footers and using page numbers, it's typically better to use one or the other, for at least for the footer information. Now you can do something different for the header, and header or footers really just give you more options on formatting and things that you can utilize. I mean, look at this. I mean, when we do the view and the header and footer, and with the auto text page numbering, you can do that here as well. The number of pages, format, date, time, page setup, and all these things. We definitely have a little bit more flexibility and granularity by utilizing headers and footers. But if you're just looking for something simple, so let's go ahead and create a new document. We'll do a blank document. Move it down here so we can see it. And now I just want to do page numbers. I can say Insert Page Numbers, bottom of the page. We'll stick with the alignment, the format. Notice it stays with the 1, 2, and 3. I click OK, and now when I scroll down to the bottom, it's now going to put the page numbers down here to the bottom. I'm not doing headers, I'm not doing footers at this point. I'm just doing simple pagination. I'm just adding page numbers to my particular document. So what did we cover? Just a few loose ends there with our page formatting, including taking a look at how we can do our headers and footers, which help us add information that will continue on through the document that we don't have to retype on every single page. We also took a look at how we can keep track of how many pages we have with our page numbering, and how we can do that automatically and place that information at the bottom of your footer, either to the right, in the center, to the left, or even inside or outside, depending on whether you're doing a book format or not. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.